I'm gonna let it go all the way out so I can do some Viking bridge.
I was gonna say the little something. All right. So my name is Holly MacDonell, and I am the president of CMEA's North Coast section, which includes Humboldt and Del Norte counties. And I am here with Dan Sedgwick, who is the director of music at Del Norte High School in Crescent City, California.
Hey there.
You are our immediate past president.
That I am.
So let's talk about your program, student recruitment, and retainment first. So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
I think this is true across the state. My program's taken a small hit this year. It's faring okay-ish. The hardest part is the limitations and what we can't do, and we can't play inside. Outside is very challenging. It's February, it rains a lot, and it's windy, and it's cold, but we're making do. We actually have two 16 by 32 tents outside my classroom that we play underneath during the day when the rains are happening, although we had a small issue with that because we had a storm roll through, and I thought 50-mile-per-hour winds were going to be okay, and it tore one of the tents apart and didn't make it. But because it made it through a previous storm, but apparently not the next one. So we got those replaced, and when it's stormy outside, we're able to do that. Both choir and band, though, have their unique challenges over Zoom. Once the students were able to come in cohorts, it was a little bit better, but still nowhere near having the amount of minutes that we had during the week. One thing that my program has been doing that I know a lot of other people are doing, we're not just utilizing the school day, because the school days are all compressed and way shorter. We're actually, our school starts at 9:45 and is over by 1. And we have more afternoon time. So that's what I usually rehearse with my concert band and choirs. They're all after school during those blocks of time. However, there's no busing for those times. So if a kid has to ride a bus, they don't come. So there's limitations there. And like I say a lot this year, there's a lot of variables and they're endless, and you can't fault anyone for that right now. Recruitment. I probably should start that soon. I have some ideas, but recruitment is very hard. Normally we go around to the middle schools and we play. That's our recruiting, and we can't do that this year. So I'm having to do some social media. I'm going to be doing a lot of personal phone calls, and just doing a lot of communication with the middle schools so that they know band is an option and know it's okay that you can't play your instrument because you took a year off. Yeah, recruiting is just going to look vastly different for our program.
You have a pretty good retention, I feel like.
Normally, yes. So I think before COVID was a thing about a year ago, my estimates were going to be like 75 to 80 kids in my band program, and now it's at 54. And I always see a dip, like, so marching band, the height of marching band, like about 2 weeks into school is like the pinnacle of that number, and they slowly start to fade, and that semester a few more drop out here and there, and I get 1 or 2 more. So I'm not surprised. I'm actually thrilled that I have 54 actually, because I know some other programs that are not doing nearly as well. And they're,
and how many students are at your high school?
It's about 1,000.
Okay.
About 1,000. Choirs, again, same thing. Not nearly as many students in them this year because it requires everyone to be in one place at one time, and that's not what students want to be doing right now. And then part of the other retention thing, there are so many students right now that are working, and I mean working, like full-time working. And I can't fault them for that. If they're going to drop choir or, and take online classes only so they can go work more, I don't know why they're working more. Well, I know some of them and why they're doing it. They're probably helping out their families. And it's really hard to see them make that choice. And I'm not going to tell them they can't do that. That's a personal thing that we can't do.
I don't think I told you I was going to ask you about this, but there are obviously in your rural zone, right? We're rural up here. Equity issues. I mean, I feel like you were just sort of touching on those a little bit. Are there How do you deal with stuff like that?
Well, and this year, again, the variables are endless. If a student can't come to rehearsal because of transportation, I mean, what can you do? So there's no penalty for that, of course, especially right now. In a normal year, I would arrange ride shares and carpools and all sorts of stuff. I always had a good group of kids from Klamath, and I'd make sure I'd say, okay, this parent has these all 4 students that day, so that we can get them to marching band practice, because again, there's no busing outside the regular school day. So if if they need help, we're creative and if we figure it out. But yeah, it's not fair, especially right now. It's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. And I guess there's other difficulties, and we're trying to support social emotional learning. Are there ways that you found to be able to help support your students?
So I know most of my students very well. The freshmen, I'm just starting to, and that's too bad because normally I know them after week 2, and I know their names before school starts because I have them for a week in marching band camp and whatnot. No, this is a hard year, and I've had a lot of difficult conversations with kids. And for right now, I'm just an ear, and I help them out as much as I can, and I direct them where they need to go. If they need to talk to counseling about classes, I make sure they know that. Um, very challenging for sure. No, I help out wherever I can. My goal this year is for my students to have as much fun as possible in my class and make sure all my seniors graduate. I think I have 6 seniors in music that failed 1 or more classes that semester, and 2 or 3 of them, they probably wouldn't be graduating right, or they wouldn't be on track to graduate if I wasn't kicking them in the pants right now, just and then sitting them down to make up those credits, because they're perfectly intelligent, but they just don't have that drive to get it done. So I always have at least 1 or 2 seniors sitting in my class while I'm teaching on Zoom or whatnot during the day, and they're just doing other classwork in Cyber High. And I have access to it, so I can log in and check their progress, and I send them texts of encouragement and everything, and whatnot. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I can't help with, and because a lot of people are hurting.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I'm trying to make it as normal as possible for the music part of it, which does help. It's amazing. We've had a couple really just funny moments in band recently where they just start laughing, and I miss that so much. I
Yes,
miss
those moments of laughter are so refreshing and
Right.
so needed, I think.
Cannot
Mhm.
wait.
So, I guess how, and you can talk about in a regular year or this year. I'm wondering about composition and improvisation, how you incorporate those into your program.
So in a normal school year, I actually teach honors band and honors choir, which has a compositional element built in. So those kids are doing it. I always do a little bit in my regular classes. Like I'll throw up a note flight assignment and start them off with 4 measures and can now write 4 more measures that sound something in the style of the first 4. It doesn't have to be perfect, but doing little things. But we're so performance based. It's really hard to get theory and composition and improv in. Jazz band, obviously, a lot more improv. And we're definitely doing that this year because jazz band is happening this school year. But less of it because we have less minutes that we're teaching every class. And again, the students, without that constant just reminder and doing it and physically having us in the space and embracing what our craft, it's not nearly as much.
My last question is a little bit about what's next for your program, and let's think about this as like a normal year kind of thing. Of course, any innovations you see on the horizon, or anything you want to change about your program to
Well,
make it
the biggest change actually happened this year, and I'm so excited to continue it. So I have a instrument repair class now.
Oh, yes.
And so we have a full shop here attached to my classroom. It's nothing huge, but we have all the tools basically to do full regulation and pad work on woodwinds, dents out of brass instruments, soldering, and we actually, what our most recent project, the students made their own spring hooks. and we just tempered the metal today. Just really cool stuff. And we're
remind me again why you even decided to start that class.
Well, you want the full story? This guy named Nick Rail donated a repair shop to my program.
Oh, that's
So we have, should I show the repair shop real fast?
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're being recorded. Let me unplug here.
And I mean, you don't have any, and part of this is that there are not a lot of instrument repair shops in local.
Right. We were facing two real big limitations regarding repairing instruments. One, we didn't have the budget for it, and two, we didn't have the time. And we didn't have a lot of horns, and so we couldn't go without 4 or 6 weeks without a clarinet, not in service. So I from moment one, when I got to Del Norte, we had this little box with pads and a glue stick and some strips of cork, but that's very limiting. So so over the years we expanded a little bit. We got a few things here and there, got a little bit more, and then all of a sudden this opportunity came to get a full repair shop. So I'll just kind of give you the grand tour here. Let's see. So I built this. It's a little messy right now, sorry. And I'm putting in a speaker system, so there's wires and stuff everywhere. I built this repair bench. The district came in and put power outlets everywhere and some new lighting, so it's much brighter in here. But we have this is like one of my favorite things right here. It's a bench motor with a foot pedal switch, so you can spin stuff on that. Then we have a dedicated woodwind bench with leak lights and all the tools necessary to regulate instruments. Obviously, screwdrivers over here. And then this is my bench. Has been deemed my bench. It's a brass bench. We have all the dent hammers and soldering clips and everything, parts, horns, a vise, all the dent tools back here and everything. And just, the sky's the limit. So whenever we need something, I have a small budget for repair stuff, but of course that Nick Rail guy keeps, offering his services and his knowledge to our program. So yeah, very, very cool to be able to fix instruments. And the coolest thing, so this is the first year it's been running, but I have 2 students that got accepted to the Renton Technical College, and they're going to go off and get their degree in instrument repair.
That is awesome.
So I'm so stoked about that. Just having that experience for them, and just giving them an option that is musical, but not in the traditional way. So it's very cool and very somewhat unique. I think, and I got this from another repair class. We're the 3rd high school program in the country to offer repair class. Excellent. So there's one out in Texas, and again, don't quote me. I'm not 1,000% sure. There's one out in Texas, and there's actually one in Stockton, which is pretty dang close to us. And I've been communicating with that person, Aaron Moss, a lot. Just kind of getting ideas and getting started, and like, how did you do this, and how did you get the CTE pathway built in, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of nice to have not reinvent everything. So it's pretty cool. I love it, and it's very much hands-on and stuff. It's different.
So much. That's super exciting, and I feel like it wouldn't just be under a music umbrella. It's also under like a technical.
So right now it's under VPA because it's not a CTE certified class. I expect it will be by next school year. I'm in the process of making that happen.
Oh, that's great. Good luck to you on that one. Yeah, that's cool. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I love that you're doing that repair class. I think that's so cool, and definitely an innovation in the education field anyway.
Yeah, sure.
Especially, below college level. So that's great. And thank you so much for taking some time and
thank you, Holly. Appreciate it.
a little bit. And this is great. So thank you.